Mystery Egg to Blind Frog Ranch. The chill of early morning still clung to the rugged valleys of eastern Utah as a thin veil of mist curled along the surface of the ponds at Blind Frog Ranch. The land seemed alive, whispering secrets from beneath its red rock canyons and hidden waterways. For centuries, whispers of buried treasure had drawn explorers, outlaws, and modern adventurers alike to these hills. Now, the search for the gold caverns was beginning to take on a clarity that no one could ignore. Uneasy signs in the earth. The team working the ranch had been following faint geological anomalies, unusual mineral traces, electromagnetic pulses, and a peculiar resonance that suggested vast, hollow spaces underground. Weeks of painstaking drilling had yielded frustratingly little until the earth itself seemed to shift. A drill bit hit an unexpected void, snapping the steel and sending vibrations across the ground like a groan from something ancient and restless. The fractured borehole gave off a metallic scent mixed with damp stone, an aroma no one could mistake for anything natural. Buried deep was something forged, not formed. For the first time, the possibility of gold chambers hidden in the subterranean labyrinth felt within reach. Legends of hidden wealth. The history of Blind Frog Ranch was steeped in tales of hidden caches. Local lore spoke of Spanish conquistadors forced to abandon their spoils in caverns beneath the Uinta Basin centuries earlier. Some whispered of Aztec refugees carrying sacred treasures northward, hiding them in chambers sealed with curses. Others told of a mining operation from the 1800s that vanished without record, its workers never seen again, their gold shipments mysteriously ceased. Each generation retold the stories, shaping them into myth, but the evidence piling up on the ranch made it clear the myths might hold more truth than fantasy. The map of Caverns, an old map, weathered and ink-stained, had been unearthed months earlier in a nearby archive. It showed a crude sketch of the basin, punctuated by odd geometric markings aligned with the stars. The placement of these symbols eerily matched the magnetic disturbances now being recorded on the property. The ranch itself appeared to sit at the nexus of several underground rivers and cavern systems, each channeling toward a central chamber marked with a sigil resembling a sun swallowed by shadows. As the search intensified, survey drones mapped fractures and passages, revealing a honeycomb of voids beneath the surface. The pattern wasn't random. The caverns had symmetry, purpose, and direction. Whoever had carved them had meant for them to conceal something far greater than just stone. Growing tension. The discovery wasn't without peril. Equipment malfunctions grew frequent. Compasses spun wildly in some areas. Drones lost signals as if swallowed whole by unseen interference. Workers complained of headaches, strange lights flickering in the dark, and voices echoing where no one else stood. Each disturbance only heightened the sense that something powerful lay below, protected by both natural and unnatural forces. The search for gold caverns was no longer just about wealth. It was about surviving the mysteries that guarded them. Waterways that should not exist to break through came when ground-penetrating sonar revealed a vast underground river, wider than anyone thought possible in the dry Utah desert. It coursed beneath the ranch like a vein of living silver. Divers were brought in, slipping into the icy water to explore submerged entrances. What they reported back sent a ripple of awe and dread. Carved stone tunnels, etched with glyphs unrecognizable to any known tribe of the region. The carvings told of journeys, guardians, and something sealed away. The divers swore the walls shimmered faintly, as if dusted with flecks of precious metal. But the water was treacherous, currents pulling and twisting as though alive, forcing the team back before they could reach the larger chambers suggested by sonar. Patterns in the rocks above ground, the rock formations told their own story. Strange circular depressions dotted the ridges, aligned precisely with solstice sunrises and lunar cycles. Each depression seemed to correspond to an entry point into the caverns. The land itself functioned as a calendar, a puzzle designed to reveal the pathways only to those who understood its cosmic rhythm. As the team plotted these alignments, a realization settled. The caverns were not simply storage for treasure. They were sanctuaries of knowledge, designed by ancient hands to preserve not just gold, but something more profound. The clarity of the search sharpened into focus. It was about unlocking an entire system of hidden wisdom and riches. The shift underground late one night, as storms rolled across the basin, tremors rattled the ranch. A sinkhole opened near one of the ponds, revealing a shaft that led into darkness. The shaft walls glistened with mineral veins, and the air that rushed upward carried the unmistakable tang of metal and age. Lights were lowered, and the depths seemed endless. When the team finally descended, they found themselves standing in a chamber carved with precision, the floor smooth, the ceiling arching like the inside of a cathedral. Gold flecks embedded in the stone reflected their lights like a constellation. But it wasn't loose treasure. It was a vault sealed inside the very bones of the earth. The chamber was only the beginning. Narrow corridors stretched deeper, and every surface was inscribed with symbols. The clarity of the search had arrived. They were standing inside the legendary caverns, their existence undeniable. Shadows of the past, yet the air was thick with foreboding. Bones, centuries old, lay in alcoves along the corridors, arranged deliberately. Some wore remnants of armor, others simple cloth. Whoever had entered before had never left. Perhaps they had been guardians, or perhaps they had been punished trespassers. Further exploration revealed chambers filled with collapsed rubble, suggesting cave-ins triggered to seal intruders out. Gold dust shimmered in cracks where torches touched, but still no coins or bars. The treasure was hidden deeper, concealed beyond deliberate obstacles. As the explorers pushed on, they sensed they were not the first to struggle here, and perhaps not the last to suffer for it. The chamber of Ekuzat, the deepest accessible point, they reached a vast circular hall where the ceiling disappeared into darkness. Their voices echoed unnaturally, magnified and distorted, as if 1,000 unseen presences repeated every word. At the center lay a stone altar, its surface etched with a map identical to the one discovered months earlier. But this map included pathways never before seen, routes branching into chambers that might still hold untouched gold. Yet the altar was also a warning. Symbols of serpents and spirals surrounded the map, marking danger or perhaps guardianship. The explorers realized the clarity they had sought came with a choice: pursue the gold further and risk unleashing what was meant to stay hidden, or leave with proof of discovery, but none of its riches. The unanswered question be, the time the team emerged from the caverns, daylight had returned to Blind Frog Ranch. The mist was lifting, the ponds sparkling with deceptive tranquility. They had found what generations before only dreamed of: undeniable evidence of the gold caverns, chambers etched with purpose and shimmering veins that promised fortune. But the cost of pressing deeper remained unclear. The bones, the warnings, the unnatural echoes, all suggested that clarity came with consequence. The search was far from over. The caverns were real, their gold no longer just a legend. Yet whether they should be fully uncovered remained a mystery only time would decide. Blind Frog Ranch had revealed its hand, but its final card lay hidden in the shadows of the earth, waiting for those daring, or foolish, enough to claim it. Dawn drifted over the Uinta Basin in thin, pearl-gray sheets, and Blind Frog Ranch exhaled its nightly chill like a creature waking from guarded sleep. The ponds were glass and the cottonwoods held their breath. In the hush before the generators thumped alive, the ground hummed a faint, steady note that nobody could hear so much as sense. It lived in boot soles and molars, and the tiny bones of the inner ear, as if the land were clearing its throat before saying something finally, unmistakably clear. The crew moved with the practiced economy of people whose days hinged on small decisions. Cables coiled neatly, batteries seated against cold metal housings, lenses wiped and wiped again. The map table unfolded, a quilt of satellite snapshots pinned with bright flags. There had been hundreds of marks once, an anthill of guesses and hunches. Now there were only 7, all linked with thread like the ribs of a fan converging toward a single dark hinge. The hinge did not appear on any government topography, but every instrument the team owned insisted it was there, a negative space in the subsurface, an absence shaped with intent.